to be saved from drug addiction. Mr. Japheth, I want to start with you. Say something, say hi to our viewers, then we continue.
I want to say hi to all the viewers who are watching us, and let me say that each day it's a learning day. Today we are going to talk about addiction. I know that addiction has been a problem not only in Kenya, even in the world. Hope today we are going to make the impact and the positive impacts. Welcome.
On the other hand, Sir Emmanuel will be our guest for today. Us, both of us, Mr. Japheth and I, we're gonna host Sir Emmanuel. We're gonna know some things about him. Before I go to Sir Emmanuel, I want you, Mr. Japheth, you explain what is drug addiction.
Thank you. When you talk about drug addiction, we mean that this is the excessive use of drugs, regardless being knowing that that drug use, it can cause damages. So because of psychological demand, you get the person is using more excessive use of drugs to achieve certain achievement. Maybe now let me put it clear that most people, they take drugs because to feel high, and then maybe to avoid other things. Let me say again, I can just say that addiction, we don't talk about only addiction of drugs. We have other types of addiction. We can talk about games addiction, that those people who are so addicted to the games, and then we can talk about even the addiction of pornography. This is where people watch excessive watch of sex materials. And again, we can talk about, when we talk about addiction, we can talk about we have addiction of drugs, but drugs that we use for generally they are used for medicinal use. Now here we can talk about seductive drugs, and then we have what you call psychotic drugs. When you talk about psychotic drugs, these are the drugs which are used in the psychiatric department to treat those people who are experiencing mental disorders. We can talk about mental disorders like we have what you call bipolar, we have what you call anxiety, we have what you call schizophrenia. Those drugs, because of the assistance they give to the patient, because it interferes with the brain. Now most of people, when they detect those drugs, they make them now feel high. Yes.
Thank you very much, Mr. Japheth. On the other hand, our man, how are you?
I'm doing good, thank you.
Say hi to our viewers.
Greeting viewers. I hope you've been good. I hope that you had a great week. Today, as we discuss this matter, I hope that you or somebody that is going through the same things or any kind of addiction will have a means of getting to overcome. I have been free of drugs since 1993. So this has been a time. But I know, like, there are many people who have also tried to come out of it, but got back into relapsing and going to use that. So we'll be discussing all these things, and I hope if I could do it, you can do it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Most people realize very late or too late when things happen. Sir Emmanuel, before we come here, just take us back where you started using the drugs.
I started using drugs in high school, and this was mainly marijuana. And you know, it started as a peer thing. I remember as a Form 1, we used to call them monos. Somebody brought us on the first night, githeri that they had put marijuana into it. You know, like, after taking that, you just get high. But as time went by, we found ourselves just doing it, and it became part of what we were doing. If it's like not on a daily basis, it will be maybe after every other day. And that's how addiction begins. Nobody gets to know or think that I will get addicted. It always gets to a place where somebody thinks, maybe I will never get there. But little by little, you come and find yourself becoming dependent, like you cannot do anything without that. So that's where addiction is.
Mr. Jaffet, a lot has been said by Sir Emmanuel. Tell me, do boys back in high school, or in short, the young generation, do drugs to please the ladies? Because you can, maybe, if I'm sure, ladies don't want those guys who are just soft. They want those people who are.
Thank you. I think now that we have started, there's some of the things before I come to your questions. I would like to share about addiction. As my brother said, addiction, you know, you don't wake up one day and then you start using excessive use of the drugs. It takes some stages, of which I think one of the things I want to make sure that those youths who are outside have got this. You know, drugs, as my brother said, it started as the way those ones who are taking who are addicts, how they started taking by one step, and then now they go in a medical statement. I can just say that. We have what you call, there's some of the terms that I need our viewers to understand. We have what you call tolerance. You get drug tolerance. This is when you get, you started, let's say for example, you started taking a wine, you started taking just a cup of wine. When you take a cup of wine, today, tomorrow, and then because of tolerance, the body's tolerance to the drug, you just get that you keep on increasing, and then when you keep on increasing, we reach a position where we get what you call drug dependence. When you talk about drug dependence, this is when you just get that a person depends on drug. You get a person does not work without the drug. This is where you get people now. Most of the people now, they have started now. The body itself it is used to the drug. When the body is used to drug, that's when you say that the person he has to work with the drugs. Without the drugs, you can get a person can have what you call withdrawal symptoms. And last but not least, I want to say that that's when you get a person now comes to the another level where the person we say it is addicted. You say that whatever the things that you get this person was doing, if he was a student, we can have school dropout because he just left the school to go and look for drugs. If you get it is about in the working place, you get those people who are working place, they just don't attend. We have absenteeism, and then you get people now they look for the drugs. This is now you get, even if it's in the society, you get a crime rate, it goes very high because people are looking for the money so that they can buy drugs. Now let's come back to your question about now most ladies they love we say they love bad guys, bad boys, you know, bad boys. Let me just say that the world has changed, and what makes both people to take drugs now we have what you call now because of peer influence. There's many causes that can cause addiction in the society. Now you see in more so in the university, in the high schools, people now, you know, because of peer influence, you get now that the stories that we can just tell our friends, maybe when we are in school, you can tell them, hey, yesterday I took alcohol, and do you know how I felt? I felt fairly high. I slept well. I made some fun. They say that we want to go out to make some fun. Get? Now that ladies, they want someone who can make them happy. They want someone who can spoil them. You know, that spoiling now it makes them now to start being introduced to drugs. And let me warn them that when you take that drugs, in future you are going to be addictors. Yes.
We have this person who is drug addicted, and the family wanashindwa maybe what they can do to him. Maybe apart from taking them to a rehabilitation center, any other solution that you can give to them?
Thank you. When you talk about those people who have been addicted, we have some of the things which can be done. We have what you call inpatients. All inpatient, this is where you get those patients who have been addicted by drugs. They can be taken to the facilities, like now we have a rehabilitation center where they can stay there for long, so that where it is drug free. And here you get some of the things which is happening. I think my brother would just say that we have what you call detoxification. This is where you get a person, if the person has been used the drug for quite some time, now that they use some of the drugs to remove those drugs from the body. So that process of detoxification, it is being done, and then you see here in the facility again, in the rehabilitation center, you get the guys are being, the psychotherapy is being done. They're being taken to some courses which can help them to just forget about drugs. And again, we have what's called outpatients. Outpatients is where you get those facilities where the patients can be taken. They just go and come out. Not only that, and then we have other facilities. We have other facilities at 12 group. When you talk about 12 group, we talk about Alcohol Anonymous, and we have another group. I think my brother will just talk about it. And then these groups, they just make sure that they call those people who don't want to use it. They meet to discuss on how they can leave the drugs. And another thing, another way that we can talk about, we can talk about. We have some of the institutions which talk about they give free services and they talk to the people how they can leave drugs.
Thank you very much. I know right now I'm running some vocabularies. Back to you, Sir Emmanuel. I want you to take us through, I want you to take us through the journey that you passed when you were a drug addict. Right. Yeah.
Before I get into that, let me just add what my brother onto what my brother Japheth is also saying. We need to understand that any drug or substance addict is a person who is sick, right? And as you get to understand that this person is sick, it is good to treat them as a sick person. Yeah. Many times we try and show them like, oh, we tunawakashifu. Yeah. But at times they have gone beyond that place where they can't do without this. So they also need our understanding first as a family, so that then we can be able to help them get to that place. And especially acceptance. Then see how you can be able, as you take them through the processes, as my brother was saying, then we can help these people overcome. Yeah. As I came, like completing my Form 4, it became like I went to college. And after that, I was not staying with my parents. And not staying with my parents, we were living at a place in Mombasa called Kisauni. And in Kisauni, drugs, then I'm not sure if they are readily available right now, but then it was there. Yeah. So we would just have like, you would go, utapata bangi kwa urahisi. Those days ilikuwa ni kama between 20 and 30 bob. And after that, people who are addicts have their own networks. You get to a place that you also start finding cocaine is coming. Now you get introduced to hard drugs. Yeah. And as you get introduced to hard drugs, and just like Japheth was saying, like as you continue using this one drug, the high does not get there. And you start losing your high. Yeah. But then you look for something else, an alternative drug, that you will get a little bit high. So as this went on, I'd come to a place that I was having a business of mine around Mwembetari. And just like he also mentioned, is that you get into a place of crime. And as you get into crime, you want to sustain that habit. So if it's somebody that was in business like I was, you stop focusing on your work and you start looking for easier means of you getting that. So it went to a point that I was even actually getting to peddle drugs, of which kwangu ilikuwa nikifika ni kwamba saa 11 ikifika, that's the time that I used to wake up. Nikiamka namna ile nikikaa chini kwanza. Unachoma moja. Yeah. Then get ready to go to work. Ikifika kama saa 3 saa 4, una what we call kwa street veve. Unatumia veve yako na kilo yako kama moja ama moja na nusu mbili, unaendelea nayo. Inafika time zingine unafikiria hapana, this is not just enough. You go back, you get some more, and maybe get some drink. Ndipo rudi tu. Now all that you want to do is, you have created a new normal. Yeah. And unless you are high, you cannot fully function. And you find yourself also withdrawn, and you cannot even communicate with people. So it keeps on lying to you, or it kept on lying to me like, hey, hayaku imeshuka. Hayaku imeshuka. And just like I mentioned the last time, it got to a point that bangi haikuwa inafanya kitu. That we had to add mpaka cocaine kiasi, ndipo unasikia at least nimeshikika kiasi. Of which, then that led me to becoming more violent and coordinating crime around that place. Na alafu unajua sasa pia unauza, and the backing of some, like I said, somebody who was so strong in drug trafficking then. And ikawa ni kwamba all you're doing is, hata polisi wakikuja kidogo panakalia, because we know this happens. Sometimes these people, the peddlers, the pushers and all this, some of them are actually known to the police, but they pay their way out. So those are some of the things that happened with me.
So, Sir Emmanuel, Mr. Japheth, sorry, I know you have listened to that story, and we heard that you have to add something more. Yenye itakufanya ukue high.
Yes, as I've heard that there's something that we have agreed that for our viewers, I want them to know, like, there's something I talked about body drug when the body is we have what you call tolerance. When you talk about tolerance, it's about as you all take drugs. I know most guys, like now our country, most people, a high percentage, they are using drugs. Most youth, they are using drugs. But what I want to warn them is that the drugs, they can have what you call the moment each day, every day, they are going to add up the amount of the drugs that they take to achieve the goals, like now to feel high, and then now at say it clears, the addiction is just looking them from the corner. So I want to say that another factor is maybe because of the time I want to add, like if you heard from my brother, we have what's called peer pressure. We have even environmental factors. You get in a community, people are using drugs. When people are using drugs, they make even those generation that is going to come now, they make it easier for them to use drugs. So another cause that I want to specify this, another cause of drug use, it can be environmental. Environmental is whereby you get, even if the parents are taking alcohol, we have drug peddlers around. You get this, the people now, the children can access the drugs easily. Even if those people who are going to get out of addiction, you know, because of those environmental factors, they can make them to do what? They can make them to use drugs. Yes.
Thank you very much. I want us to take a break, and when we get back, this is a story and a show that you need to tell a friend. Who knows someone who is alcoholic or a drug addict. Sir Emmanuel is just calling it, like he's not hiding, and maybe a lot of us are in denial. We will be right back after the break. So remember to keep on talking to us on our social media, the Facebook at Nice TV, Twitter Nice TV, and Instagram Nice TV. Remember our SMS number is 0701 770024.